have to put the work in. It's like doing their homework. If they don't do their homework, they're going to be in trouble with the school teacher. If they don't do the homework by doing their road work or their bag work or their bluffing, they're going to get caught out. And getting caught out in a boxing ring opposed to being getting caught out by the teacher is a different ball game. It's a self-discipline. It's a way of life. Boxing is. Now these kids know that if they put the effort in, they can get throughout the world. Where they never say before, I travel the world. You know, and I literally travel the world and back. And twice again, you know, and you know the rewards you get in that alone is phenomenal.
How did I get started in boxing? Well, boxing's in my family for the last number of years. My uncles used to box, and I was the first of my family's box. I'm the oldest, and Dad used to be always like, I'm not letting my girls box, but we finally persuaded them to let us box in the end. And I started about boxing 3 years ago, and since then I've won 6 national titles.
Simple. My father was coach at Green Hills Boxing Club way back in the old 70s, and at 7, 8 years old we decided to join Green Hills Boxing Club.
Well, 2 big brothers, they were boxers. Well, they went in it, they were from school, they were going in it, and then I wanted to follow them in, I wanted to follow in their footsteps.
I started 4 years ago. I played non-sport, but it was a big thing in my area because there was a world champion, ringside world champion, Caroline Riley, John Joe Nevin as well, boxing from Cavan, and Andrew Moore, the professional, so I thought, why not give it a go, you know?
I know, a few of my cousins was doing boxing at the time, and I asked my father could I do it, and he held me back at the start because I was only 7, and I kept it going for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then at the finish nobody let me down, and I never turned back since. I'm still doing it.
At the age of 13, 14, I was a bit of a delinquent on the road, and I found a boxing club, and I went in one day and I started to watch the boys boxing, and I wanted to do a bit of boxing, and it started back then when I was 14 years of age.
Boxing has changed my life in a way because I'm not that good at school, so I always box. I love boxing. I joined boxing when I was about 10. I started boxing when I was about 12, 11, 12. No, I didn't stop boxing.
Startbox is a fun-based, initially non-contact introductory program. It's pre-club, so it's a new level that before Startbox was along, if you wanted to start boxing, you joined a boxing club. This is a pre-club level that we've introduced now. It's a social inclusion tool. It's not just about boxing. We target kids of all abilities, from 10 to 21 years of age, girls and boys of all abilities. We offer them the chance to get involved in a sport that they probably had no identification with in the first place.
Okay? So make sure that you're ready when you come in here and you're not bored. Keep concentrating and 100% and see when you get in the ring. All 3 rings! Let's start jogging on the spot, let's go! Left hand down! Right hand down! Let's get our knees up! Knees up, knees up!
Target at-risk communities, at-risk children, and we promote what we try to do. We try to promote a positive lifestyle, and really like to target specific communities with a sport that they have an identification with, which in an aim to promote community activity and all the positive attributes that are usually associated with sport.
I honestly think it's a great idea. Yeah. It's pick up for forms of bullying and all that. Pick up, take them to school, getting exercise, it's for the school as well, I heard actually, and gives them a hobby and interest other than schoolwork and sitting home playing the Xbox. That's what they're at nowadays, playing Xbox. Sitting in. At least this, if it's only an hour during school hours, it's getting them out, it's keeping them active, keeping them fit.
Been 5 of us taken on in the Dublin City areas. Myself, Michael Carruth, Eric Donovan, Tommy Ahern and Paul Quinn. Yeah.
Move now! Stop! He's doing exactly what I told him now.
Well, I'm a development officer. I'm the supervisor of the development team. So my team, you know, they work through me in conjunction with Dublin City Council and of course our employers, the IABA. So.
The Startbox programme originated about 4 years ago. A sports development officer and a local coach, Derek Ahern, came up with the concept. He modelled it on what the FAI sports development officers were doing. And so they were using soccer as a tool to promote community development. And so he came up with the idea to base it on their scheme. And they ran a pilot programme, mostly I think with the high performance, some high performance boxers. And they did a pilot programme around town which was successful. And the impetus came from that down to launch the boxing in the community as full-time.
Well, we work them from 10-year-olds up to right up to 21-year-olds. And with that is we base it on the three medals that are ever won in any sports: bronze, silver and gold.
We start them off very, very basic. For the bronze program, it'll be non-contact for the first 6 weeks. We get their hands right, we get their feet right, we get basic movement and just fundamentals. And then once they show an interest and they show the dedication it takes to go through those 6 weeks, really not doing anything involved with punching or any of the aggressive stuff.
And what the idea is to show them the fun part of it first, the exercise second, and obviously then the commitment third. And that's the way it basically goes. Then it goes into the silver program, which makes it a little bit more serious. The gold program is even more serious. It's full-scale boxing, and then we reward them with a showcase final somewhere either in the stadium or Aviva Stadium or places like that where we do the showcase finals.
A draw, ladies and gentlemen. Trophies and certificates presented by Michael Carruth.
Sometimes you could be starting your classes 9 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes you could be finishing at 9 o'clock in the evening. They call it a whole-time job, which basically means you have to do your 40 hours at any time during that week. It's not a 9 to 5, so you've got to be flexible and you've got to be dedicated in what you do in this job, because it's not structured 8 hours as such from 9 to 5.
Yeah, the 12th of June.
Yeah, the late slot. So the first 2 weeks there's only 3 slots left. Which is great. The response has been, we're inundated with calls from schools. Initially when we started, we were making the phone calls. Now there's a 3-4 month wait before I can get to any new school. We're at the point now where our success, as we're widely known, is that we don't make phone calls to schools anymore, they ring us. As I said, if I was to go to a new school, there'd be a 3 or 4 month waiting list.
I think it's a great idea and a great incentive for kids to get involved in boxing, to have a taste of it and see if they enjoy it. Whereas, a lot of kids come to clubs and they feel kind of, I don't feel in place. They feel threatened, whereas with the Startbox, it gives them a little insight into the boxing and how it really works. And if you like it, then they can pass them on to boxing clubs. I think it's a great idea.
Really what we're looking for is getting the kids involved in something positive. So even though we're development officers in boxing, we don't really mind once the kids are involved in something, you know what I mean? So but what we're trying to do is trying to get them an initial interest in boxing, and then from there. And the great thing about our program is that it nullifies the intimidation factor. If for example, if a child wants to do the boxing, and it happened to myself when I was real young, you're kind of scared to make that initial move to a boxing club, because you've heard all the lads who are boxing, they're great little boxers and all this, and you kind of as a child you feel scared about walking through those doors for the first time, you know. So I think with our program, that nullifies that intimidation that you might feel, because you'll already have gone through your bronze, silver and gold. You'll have already sparred, and so there's nothing new that's going to happen when you walk through the doors of a boxing club. So I think that's a great start for anybody in the boxing club.